If you need an extra $5,000, $10,000 by next week, like genuinely, if your back is against the wall right now and you need a new client, this is exactly what I would do. Step by step, no BS, no build your brand and blah blah, and hope someone DM, none of that. I'm going to walk you through the entire system in 10 minutes, from infrastructure to offer to campaign to closing a deal. And I'm not talking about theory. This is the exact same thing that we run at Dulce, and this is what I build for our clients. This is the machine. So let's get into it. So I saw this post online the other day. Someone said, and I'm paraphrasing, I used to do cold email 5 years ago, stopped, relied on referrals and meetups, and now those aren't working and I'm struggling bad. If I were to do it over again, where do I begin? And that hit me because like 90% of business owners and lead gen founders I talk to, you had a thing that worked. Referrals were flowing, maybe you were networking, going to events, and it was enough, right? But now it's 2026 and the game has changed. The people who are sending you referrals are busy. The meetups dried up, people don't go, or they're oversaturated. And you're sitting there like, how the hell do I get predictable system to generate new clients? And this is where most people mess up. They go, okay, I'll start cold email again. And they fire up some tool, write a generic template, blast it to 10,000 people, and wondering why they're getting no responses, landing in spam. And that's not cold email in 2026. That's actual spam. And it's a completely different thing. The landscape has shifted. I understand deliverability is harder, inbox is smarter, people are skeptical, and this is the part where people miss because the opportunity is bigger than ever. Most people have quit. Most people have given up because they cannot figure out these new rules, which mean you correctly now have a massive statistical advantage. All right, here's going to be step one process of exactly how we're going to set this up. And the first thing, and listen, again, this is not sexy, but you just want to make sure that you have this hash out the way. You need to set up your sending infrastructure correctly, or your emails are going to go straight to spam, and you can't be losing before you even begin, all right? So let's get into this specifically. So here, we are going to go over that setup right now. How I would do it is very, very simple. First things first, we need some domains, all right? So we're going to go to porkbun.com. On porkbun.com, we need domains, right? Now, when you come to here, it is very, very simple. They typically always have a sale on .infos. Now, if you want to ask me what's better, .com, .info, whatever the case may be, .info, .com, .co, whatever it is relatively all performing exactly the same right now. Now, unless you do something really sketchy, like for example, I don't really like .x, y, and z as much, but .infos have been a great balance of price and as well as performance. So I'd scoop up a bunch of .infos, and you can use cold email, you can use GPT to generate these and be very simple. So let's just assume here that we have our company called, agency growth, right? So we want to do use agency growth .info. We're going to use different variations of that. So try agency growth.info, leverage agency growth.info, email agency. It honestly doesn't matter. A lot of people threat over this more than they should. It's just very straightforward on what it is. So we'll do growth. Oops. We'll do scale. We'll do outreach, right? Whatever the deal is. There you go. You click search. You come here and you pick up your domains. Now, to begin, I'd recommend at least 50 branded subdomains. And if you're not sure why we're doing this exactly, is because we want to protect our internal domains from going to spam. So when you set up on a secondary domain, you don't impact your main emails at all. And look at this. If I bought these 7 domains, that'd be 21 bucks. In terms of ads and in terms of budgeting, that's, nothing less than amazing. So just a note, they do renew at 22 bucks, but by the time that next year rolls around, you just buy a brand new set of .infos. So go ahead and purchase these. Now after this, we're going to head over to our vendor cheap inboxes. Cheapinboxes.com. They are statistically as well as pretty much number one in the industry for buying inboxes. Now this is very, very important. Each domain can get you now 2 accounts. So here we are going to purchase 100 email accounts. Now, they specifically specialize in Google Directs panel, Google reseller accounts. Now, here's exactly what that means. You have 2 types of infrastructure for cold email, right? You have public and you have private. So examples, I'll blow this up for you. Examples of public are Google and Microsoft, right? They are not going anywhere. They are multi-billion-dollar companies. They are not going anywhere. Private is where you have SMTP and smaller companies, and these aren't bad. Some of them is like scaled mail, right? You have Superwave, those type of companies. Now, here's the difference between the two. The difference between the two is that one of them can shut down overnight. It's entirely possible. I've seen it happen before to my clients, and then everyone's stuck at zero and have to effectively restart. So I always go the public route. Now, if you do go public, there's two different things you should know about. There should be legacy panels, and there should be direct reseller panels. Now, both of these are reseller accounts. So what does reseller account mean? Reseller account is when someone works at or is partnered with Google/Microsoft who gets panels to create accounts cheaper than the public price. So this is typically, they have a bottom line where they actually have to make money. So it's important that when you think about this, there is support, the level of support that you get. There is location. Is it US based or Germany? And then also it's going to be the type of partnership, right? Because again, if they're partnered or if they work there, there's two different ways that you're going to get the prices built out. So we use them because the direct reseller is really important. Legacy were panels that were stopped off the top of my head right now. It's believed 2012. They stopped it. And this is where you basically create endless accounts for practically really cheap. There's no difference, just pricing. Now, Google started to shut these down. So it's really important that you got direct reseller. Yes, they're a little bit more, but come on, for $325 compared to $840 nowadays, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. And if you're in my platform, Agency Ignition, we give you heavy discounts on all the tools that we're going to be talking about today. So if you're interested, go check that out down below. Now, at this point here, we're going to order now, and we're going to go ahead and purchase 100 inboxes. Now, this is very straight up. We'll head to checkout. We'll use code Agency Ignition, and then we enter our information and bill now. So how this works is they will set up all records for you. So you don't have to worry about DNS. You don't have to worry about email accounts, and they take 24 hours. Now, during this time frame, you've already set up your infrastructure. What's the next step? Well, now we need to create an outbound ready offer. Outbound ready offer is going to be what we actually sell. So I'm going to use me as a primary example here that we are selling lead generation services via this channel. So the service is we will build and manage a cold or a lead generation system that allows our clients who are what? We want to be specific. Let's do B2B marketing agencies because it's what I know best. Our clients, B2B marketing agencies, get more booked meetings by getting them in touch with their ideal customer profile. Now, that's our service. Let's think about how we want to break this down into something that's cold traffic ready. So what is a front, or let's start with the back end. What is a back end offer? The back end offer is we will buy, set up, and manage consistently this outreach system via cold email on our client's behalf. The only thing they need to manage and worry about is attending the booked meeting we set up for them with the prospect, and then close them in 1-2 calls and collect the cash. All right, so just like this, that is the back end offer. That's exactly what we're gonna do. So the front end offer, if you haven't already, right here is my last video where I talk about exactly how to create a cold traffic ready offer. So for the front end, let's think about what people actually want. Do they want cold email? Do they want lead generation? Do they want this? Do they want that? No, they don't. What do they hate? They hate relying on referrals. They don't have a system to be able to consistently manage. Now, here's the thing. We can't come off in that angle because guess what? We're not the only geniuses in the room. What do you think everybody else is doing? Oh, I don't care about that. So let me offer them consistent leads, predictable pipeline. No, because they're also doing that. So how do you think beyond that, outside of the box, that is going to give you leverage? The most important thing here is leverage. We want to make sure that we have something that's undeniable for them. So what is a great way to dictate if they're looking to scale or grow? We can offer what? Free leads. We can offer to create a campaign and run it for them to get results. And this is where we get a little tricky with the stipulation to say like, hey, you know, if we get you 10 meetings, then you pay us, right? Because at the end of the day, we set up this system for ourselves. We get results for ourselves, and now we just do it for our clients. So we'll lead with this. Let's call it the leads as the offer. Now, that is all set up and ready to go. What is the next step? Next step now is to create a campaign. What are the couple different things we need for that? We need a cold email dedicated tool, meaning we need a tool that's built for sending cold emails. So what does that include? That includes cold email sending IPs, right? We need it to be within their terms of service. We need it to be it needs to include a warm-up pool. and have deliverability tools as well to make it easy to monitor our emails. Okay, so that's number 1. What's the number 2 thing we need? We need the leads, and then 3, we need the copy. So let's keep it very straightforward. For this example, I'm going to use SmartLead. So SmartLead is a cold email tool inside of Agency Ignition. You get our partnership code, and here we are going to need just a, okay, they actually updated this. You could just need the, actually it looks the same, but you could just need the pro plan. That's really it to get started. If you're being really lean, you could go with the base, but I think 2,000 contacts versus 30 is just a world difference, no-brainer. So we're going to get started with the pro plan. Let's sign up and let's get up in here. All right, so I am here inside of SmartLead. Now what I would need to do is get the leads. We got the platform, we set up our account. There's nothing really we need to do. We need to share our login with our creation team. So with what I say, Cheap Inboxes, they set it up for you. So you just give them this, and then we activate warm-up. Now when you go inside of here, if they haven't did that, all you got to do is just take your boxes, select your set accounts, and do bulk update. Very, very simple. Bulk warm-up active. You can set this, honestly, the number doesn't really even matter. You can do 40, and then I'll do anywhere between like 15 and 25. And then we'll make sure to keep our reply rate at 30% and keep bulk warm-up on. We'll do 5 per day. So what this means in a fast breakdown is that your warm-up pool is going to mimic human-like sending. So warm-up pool. It is, actually I'll break it down here. Mimic human-like sending patterns for new and existing email accounts. This builds account health since it showcases the conversations being held and threads created. So ultimately, it puts you in a pool with other email accounts in an automated fashion. They send emails and they talk back and forth to each other. So if you do get someone who reports you as spam, you don't have such a high spam rate. Because of this, we're diluting it by mimicking that sending pattern, as well as why we use a daily bulk ramp up, is it's going to increase the numbers that we're sending of emails per day. So 10, 15, 20, 25. It's going to increase in aspects of 5. All right. You could also turn this on to adjust the warm-up and sending ratio, and then you're good to go. Send warm-up emails only on weekdays, and then save. So just like that, your warm-up is on. You'll get to see a little reputation number here. Don't threat about the reputation too much because there's a different way that we test for deliverability that's not covered in this video, but here you have your accounts now warming up. So let's go to email campaigns. So now we need to create a cold email campaign. So we're going to create it. Here we go. We need the leads. So where are we going to get good, fast, accurate leads from? We're going to use our partner A-Leads. Now, A-Leads, if you're inside of Agency Ignition, crazy discounts. You could get 30 to 45% off on all these plans by just signing up inside of our group. And hello, I mean, hey, I'm not going to, beat a dead horse here, but $99 times 30% off is going to give you $70, right? And then really when you step it up to like a power plan, and let's say that gets to the 40% off, that's $120 for practically this one plan for twice the credit. So no brainer there. Start a 7-day free trial. So we're going to set up, you can most likely just get the Ignite or the Boost plan. Either one totally works. So let's log in here and let's get set up. All right, cool. We are in here. All these links you'll find down below in the description to make your life easier. Let's go to Lead Finder. All right, what I say, we want to target B2B agencies. So ultimately, let's start on the company tab. We got 40 million companies. No biggie. Let's start with location. Let's target United States. I like United Kingdom. Bulk of my clients are from there. Let's also do Canada. Now, at this portion here, we got our countries dialed in. Employee size. We want to think about a couple different factors. What is going to dictate who we're going to reach out to? Well, they need to be a growing industry. Agencies are. They need to be able to afford our service. They definitely can. And they also need to be able to be easily found, which is exactly why we're here. And then they have to have the pain, which they do. So let's think about the second factor that I mentioned is if they can afford it. Now, 1 to 2 agencies, if I'm trying to pitch this at 2, 3, 4, 5K a month, it's not going to hit the mark. So let's step it up to at least 5 employees. And at least 50 here. All right. So at this portion here, let's target our industry and keywords. They actually have one called marketing and advertising, which makes our life really easy. Now we're at 43,000 different companies. Okay. Now be in mind as this continues to update that these are corrected inside of the people's tab. So let's now target specific type of marketing agencies. So what do we work extremely, extremely well in? Influencer marketing is where I can even think the first place to start. So influencer marketing, we got 1.3K here. Let's do influencer. Let's do video production, works extremely well for us. Let's do SEO, works extremely well for us. PPC, and there you go. 13K companies is perfect. Now, excluding keywords, this is also really important. There's going to be some things in here, and you're going to want to go through this list to see and understand it. All right, I guess Excel agency, let's just pretend that they are a software, right? We don't want softwares, we don't want SaaS, we don't want something that's not supposed to be here. So we have to start excluding, for example, healthcare. I'm not really in love with healthcare, so that's actually the first one. Let's get rid of that. Let's also get rid of consulting. I don't want people who consult for agencies, and you have to really dive in here to make it specific, but I don't want event companies. I don't want promotional product companies. Those don't work very well with cold email. What else? We don't want newsletter sources. We don't want staffing agencies. Don't want recruitment agencies. And with that being said, that should be just good enough for now. And that's really it. Look at that. I just created an entire, oops. All right, boom, just like that. So location, company size, industry, and keywords. These all look, I'm just going to ballpark it, but these all look relatively, marketing, video production, smart insights, advertising agency. This is right up our mark. Let's head to the people now. I only want to talk to those who are actually beneficial. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, the greatest thing of why I use A-Leads is because all the leads are triple verified. You're only paying for triple verified leads, meaning that I do not have to go out and spend on different tools like Million Verifier and things like that. Now, if you did go pick a different database, you need to verify your leads. Making this very important that you need to verify your leads. Use Million Verifier. They're one of the most accurate and also one of the best priced out there. Look, you get 50,000 emails for 89 bucks. I've never even seen that anywhere else. So use that. Now, job titles. We want everyone who can actually tell me a yes or a no. So owner, founder, CEO, COO, director, right? We want managing partner. We want president is one people miss. We want our CMO. We want head positions, right? Just like that. Boom. Now at this portion here, we're going to be left with, all right, boom. Just like that, we go ahead and created this list here. There's a couple things you probably want to find. So head of research isn't, very exactly what I want. Also for location wise, I only want people who are obviously English speaking. So I want to exclude India. I want to exclude Africa and Pakistan here. These are just statistically locations I want to exclude. Now, the reason why I don't include the US and things like that is because some of these people could just work in different countries. So, for example, one of my clients is a US-based influencer marketing agency, but he lives in Chile. So if I did US only, he wouldn't have been on that list. All right. Bottom line is, here we go. I'm just gonna take out head for now because that's probably, I'll do, head of marketing would probably be best. All right. There we go. So now I got 10.2 thousand people. All right. And 5,000 net new, which I haven't scraped yet before. And you only pay once, by the way. So if I click these save, this means these 5.3K people already scraped. So let's go into here. Let's bulk export. Let's grab all 5,000 people and I'll meet you back at the campaign. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Just downloaded a list. This is what we got. We're cooking. Got all our emails, got all the titles, and now we're just going to download this as a CSV, and let's bring this literally just right over here into SmartLead. Boom. So import settings, doesn't matter. Save, client ID, doesn't matter. We want to map everything, first name, last name, email, company name, website, all that's good. Really just care about the big bulk and butter. There's so many different ways you could go into it, but here specifically, this is going to be very, very simple. This should take only a couple minutes. I'm not sure why it says 20 to 25. All right, cool. So got our leads loaded in. So when you first log in, this is exactly what it looks like. So you want to name your campaign. I typically do it by like client, industry, offer type. So normally I'd be Dulce. I'll just keep it broad. B2B marketing agencies. What is the tags? It was 5 to 50 employee. I did US, UK, Canada, and then we did all titles. So from this point on, I'll also direct the strategy. So we're going to do a lead magnet strategy. All right. So that's typically how I title these, and I'll also add a leads after to locate where I got the leads from. Okay, cool. So just like this is how it works. So you get to write your steps, your follow-up, subject name, a subject line. You don't go too crazy over this, Like, I know quick question. Everyone's like, oh, I never opened up something quick, but like, listen. Really, the only other way you could do it is something coming from internal. So our outreach or our clients or our leads. All right, just something of that nature. Okay. So by the way, too, when you see me type it out like this is something called Spintax. All right. So we already got the leads built on a leads 30 to 45% off in Agency Ignition. Go sign up for that. Need the copy. So the copy is now this. We're going to keep it 2 to 3 lines. We're going to keep it very short, to the point, and follow-ups with easier yes built in. Okay? So let's do that here. So I'll keep that the same. We'll do this. We'll do first name. Don't need hey anymore. It's not really that game changing. Okay. First name. I'm going to say, what do we type out as our lead magnet? Let's do the free leads. That's always worked best. Hey, John. Could I build you a list of 1,000 free leads for company? We're actually not going to use company. The reason why here is because when we scraped it, we didn't format the data correctly. Now, if you need a tool to make sure that when you scrape data comes out as LLC, corporation, things like that, you can actually make it just the company name. So if you scrape me, you'll probably get Dulce Media or Dulce Media LLC. My name is just Dulce. So you'll use that formatter to scrape it down. The tool is also available in Agency Ignition, or Clay has one built in as well. Could I build you a list of 1,000 free leads for you to use in any of your outreach campaigns? It includes name, email, LinkedIn, and any other data you need to book them in. And we'll just leave it at that. Screw it. Best, Alexander Wong, Dulce. We'll throw in a PS line here. PS, I build it to showcase to you our value so you can test our data, our leads we can bring you without any risk. It's just very, very straightforward. And the reason why I do that is because guess what? Somebody always asks me, oh, what's the catch? Why are you going to build for free? What's in it for you? I just want to answer that out the gate. So I build it for you to showcase our value, and so you can test our leads that we can bring you without any risk. PPS, I always have an opt-out, or tell me to pound send. I use this because it's funny. Some people like say that, oh, they go to opt-out and they look here and they laugh and they actually make them reread it again. So could I build you a list of 1,000 free leads? Can I build you a list of 1,000 free leads to use in any of your outreach campaigns? It includes name, email, LinkedIn, and whatever else you need to book them in. Best Alexander Wong. So here at this portion, I want to Spintax this now. So the concept of Spintax is very, very simple. It is what I did up here. You can use a ChatGPT prompt, and that should get the job done for you. So could mind if. See, and we'll create a different variation just like that. So now, if I send this to 2 people, one person will get mind if I build you, the other person will get could I build you. And you just want to do that for all your portions here. So like even like a silly little cheat code, right? This doesn't make a major difference, but you know, just again, make sure your messages are not exactly the same. So for me, I'm lucky enough I could do my name, I could do Alex or Alexander Wong, I could do best, I could do from, right? So many different ways you could go about it, but there you go. Now at this portion here, I typically like to go for a 3-step sequence without bombarding people. So for this, I'll just literally recap it and then offer something very, very simple. So the idea is if they don't respond in step 1, we want to make it easier for them to say step 2. So I also am testing if I just sent this as a for those leads I mentioned to you before that we would build for free comes from our database. We build it to showcase to you our data quality firsthand without any risk on your end. Mind if I send a video explaining how it works? All right, there you go. So just like that, you see, I just take the same thing and I'm literally just bringing it down. So I'll say, just another variation. For those, is that what I started this off with? Yeah, for those leads to say. In the list of 1,000 free leads, we can implement them into our omni-channel outreach tool, which will send you interested leads straight to your calendar without any effort on your end. We do this to showcase, to display our value before we do this to display our value without risk on your end in hopes that we could work together. Can I send more info on how it would work? All right. So I think these are pretty solid. I would spin tax them and of course, you know, change them up. This is kind of off the cuff, off the dome, but that is your 3 steps right here. Now, after this process, you could go right to save and next, and then it'll take you to your campaign setup. Very straightforward. You just go in here and select your accounts that you want to use. We'll modify our campaign settings as so stop when they reply to a message, pattern based. We always want to do plain text, just to always make sure. We want to auto pause. We don't really need any of this. Put it all. We want to select this option to categorize with Smart Leads AI. Just select interested, not interested, out of office, or other. And then that's really it. Save general settings. And just like that, we are good to go. Now, campaign schedule, I just do EST. America, New York. I also randomize this, so I'll do like 8:36. And then I'll do like 1817, just so it's always random. Now, email will be sent every X minutes. You want to make sure this matches to your account. So typically when we're first going to start, we're going to do 5 per day, I mean. So 5 per day per account. And then when we scale up to 10 to 15, then we want to adjust the campaign as accordingly. So we'll make it start tomorrow. A number of new leads reach per day per campaign. Doesn't matter. We could do 2,000 is fine. And then save. Sender accounts. I'll just implement one here. And he saves your next step. And at this portion here, boom, look. Jason, mind if I build you a list of 1,000 free leads to use in any of your outreach campaigns? It includes name, email, LinkedIn, any other data you need to book them in. From Alex Wong. Dulcie, I built it for you to showcase our value and so you could test our leads that we could bring you without any risk. PS, tell me to pound stand. That's good. You know, literally just steal this before it gets saturated. Jason, for those leads I mentioned to you before that we would build for free comes from our database. We build it to showcase to you our data quality firsthand without any risk on your end. Mind if I send you a video on how it works? And same thing for step 3. Jason, in the list of 1,000 free leads, we can implement them into our omni-channel outreach tool which will send you interested leads straight to your calendar without any effort on your end. We do this to display our value without risk on your end in hopes we could work together. Can I send you more info on how it works? And just like that, you literally click schedule campaign and you're done. Now let me show you how we book them in. All right, here we go. So when you get to your inbox, it's very unified. It looks just like this. So when you get a conversation come in, like let's do Benjamin here for a sec. This was our original email. Hello, Benjamin. I noticed company on Good Friends, thought you might appreciate a free list of 5,000 prospects. This includes names. See, look at this was back in September of 2024. Still the same sauce, still working. PS is absolutely free and could help you increase your outreach efforts. And he said, sure, what do you need? Target profiles? So I said, Benjamin, all I need from you is 10 to 15 minutes just so we could properly build it. We'll review it and I'll showcase to you live. Do you have time on Monday or Tuesday? He says, hi, Alex, tomorrow at 4 p.m. sounds good. All right, that sounds perfect. I'll get you penciled in. You'll receive a confirmation email from my CRM. Just want to confirm, is this EST or London? Because I looked them up, he's from London. And then he said, he actually didn't respond. So I emailed him here, emailed him again, 3 times. Look at this. So he said he wanted to book on the 10th. I replied pretty much 2 hours later when I got into office. Then I replied 2 days later. I reserved a couple minutes for us. He didn't answer. And I said, when would be the best time? If you're not interested, just let me know. 4 days later. And then he responded, Thursday's best as I'm off tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time. 2 p.m. time is great. I'll send you, look forward to speaking with you. Booked him, and he was on the calendar. Okay, let me see if I have any other specific meeting request examples. That's actually the only one listed here. I guess data's getting old. Let's do Kevin, for example. So Kevin, for example, I noticed you guys in Good Firms and we're considering if it'd be fine. This is just a bunch of spin tax. This is why you see it's the same message but different. Just bump my last email. What do you think? He goes, what is the cost? So the lead list on us. All I need is to build it out, answer this question here. And then he didn't end up answering here. So I don't have a ton of saved old information, but from Benjamin, you get the point, right? I don't dodge the question. I just showcased him like, hey, listen, to put it together, it's best if you have 10 to 15 minutes. In our space, it's very common to get on a call, and this is how I would put it together. If I do something like local businesses, I might suggest a phone call instead, because these people don't use like Google Meet and things like that as often. So ultimately, I just progress the conversation, ask the question, and just get them on a meeting. Now at this portion here, that's number 4. We started booking in the meetings, and now number 5 is closing the deal. So to close the deal is very easy. What we do is when we get on a call with them, we introduce ourselves. We go right into a frame. We basically say, this is what the call is going to be about. I want to ask you questions, understand your goals. So we'll call this a discovery, understand your goals, and then we'll go ahead and put together all the information. So in the discovery, we want to take 2 paths here. We want to understand if we can help or can't help. If we can help, then we'll just start the pitch sequence. And in the pitch sequence, we'll go through and say, hey John, there is 4 steps we need to go through to get you from current state to desired state. You go through the steps with him, handle all objections, and you get to your closing sequence, which is now where on call number 1, you just say, all right, after he's 100% on board, so how do you feel about the process in totality? If he sounds happy and he's like, yes, let's go, I'm very excited with this, you just go to, great, here's the next steps. Onboarding is X, Y, and Z. Delivery is X, Y, and Z. Then you say, any questions on that? No. Great. The investment to get you to 50K a month with outbound is 5K a month. Sit there, you wait, you say, great, any questions on that? If they don't say anything, you don't want to have awkward silence. And if they say nope, then you just hit them with the I'm excited part to get started. Are you excited? Woo! Are you excited? Yes. Awesome. Would Tuesday or Thursday work better for your onboarding call? Great. What's the billing address? I'm ready for the card for when you are. That's it. That's how you get the client. Now, if they aren't a good fit, you can either, 1, disqualify them and just get off the call, or 2, you can downsell them. So perhaps this could be just leads or building this system for them and charging for your time. All right. So that being said, that's the entire process on exactly how I would go ahead and sign a client next week. So I know this might have been a little bit more drawn, but ultimately I decided mid-video I wanted to give you guys more value than what I anticipated. So if you do have any questions, the best thing for you to do is go down in the description, find me on Instagram, follow me, and DM me any questions that you have, and I will promptly answer you and make sure you get the answers that you need, okay? So with that being said, that's it. See you guys in the next one.